choose to let our minds explore other possibilities, to use our imaginations. For if we consider that astroscientists agree on one point, that the possibility of life elsewhere is not only quite probable, some feel it is there without a doubt. Let us suppose then that these objects are real space vehicles, extraterrestrial in origin, and not an illusion of the mind.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the most casual somewhere in the live stream you will ever experience. I can guarantee you that. I will explain why in just a moment here, but I want to say hello to all of our regulars in the chat right now, to all of our new people, to all of the people who came out to join me, the Galactic Funk music, all those who came and joined me at Cosmic Frequencies here in the UK yesterday. It was incredible. I will get to that in just a moment too. But hey guys, hello to Pat, to Kurt, who else we got here? Robert is here. Andrew Gardner is here, who I just saw in Hexham. Zeg is here. Hi guys. Robert Chafee is here as always. J. Allen Heineken. Hi guys. Hi to everyone. The biologist as always. Everyone coming in clutch. Welcome to everyone watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, and now on Instagram, I think. Yes, we are. Awesome. Yeah, we are everywhere now. This is so cool. Just kind of opening up the conversation to as much social media as we can. I will say this though. The most fun is here on YouTube, where you can take part in our live chat. I don't think the comments from Instagram come over or Facebook come over here. So I won't see those if you guys are posting over there. But yeah, come join us over on YouTube. We have a good time. Just the Ryan Sprague somewhere on this guy's YouTube channel, if you're watching this anywhere else. Yeah. So reason this is going to be a very impromptu show is I did not have time to prepare anything. But guess who did? Our incredible moderator, Suzanne. She hit me up with the news this past week while I was away speaking at a conference. And I thought I would have time on my train home to look everything over, get the slideshow ready for you guys and all that. But what happened? The UK trains happened. Now, for anyone in Europe who rides the UK trains, you know how unbelievably hellish these things can be. And especially on the weekend, and especially when you're traveling back to a city that is currently hosting the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and a 2-night Oasis concert on the same weekend. So basically, my train got delayed 2.5 hours. I was in England and I was on my way back to Scotland. Got delayed 2.5 hours when I got to Newcastle, UK. And what that does is it bumps every train after that up one. So then you lose your spot on the train that was originally yours. Then you go to the next one. And what happens then is you lose your seats. So I booked my train 2.5 weeks in advance, being the responsible person, so I could enjoy that 3.5 to 4 hour train ride in my seat and get ready for this for you guys. The train had different plans for me. I stood for about 5 hours collectively for this trip home. I'm complaining a lot. This is all to say that I didn't have time to prepare a lot. So tonight is going to be super casual, super fun. This is going to be kind of like an Ask Me Anything of Suzanne, our incredible moderator, who will be coming in just a few moments. Ask us anything you want, guys. What's on your mind in the UFO field and beyond? Anything. We're here to answer your questions as best we can. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have some news. For you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about the event that I just spoke at and all that, but I want to hear from you guys. We want you to be a huge part of tonight's show for sure. So hit that like button. Thank you so much, Kurt. Appreciate that. The trains ruin my life constantly, Kenzo says. Yeah, I lived in New York City for 13 years. The New York subway system is also so bad. So unbelievably bad, so unbelievably unreliable. The trains, and look, these things run 24/7, so they're gonna break down. Stuff is gonna happen. Accidents happen. Everything you can think of happens on the New York subway system. So this ain't the first time I've dealt with something like this. It's not the first time I've dealt with it in the UK either. But I was just like, come on, I just want to get back and talk to my live stream folks. So yeah. Enough of that. Worse than Amtrak says. J. Allen Heineken says, yes. The UK train system is incomparably worse than Amtrak in the United States. But again, I think it's because you can get to anywhere throughout the entire United Kingdom on the trains. You can in New York and in the US as well, but it's a heck of a lot bigger. So the trains in the UK run all the time, hundreds of thousands of trains a day. So again, there's going to be problems. And I just happen to be a part of one of those. God, I've been talking about this way too much. I'm sorry, guys. I want to talk to you a little bit about the event that I spoke at, that I literally just got back from. That's not it. I don't want to show you guys that video yet. Hold on. How do I get this in here? All right. So just a couple images I wanted to share with you guys. This was at the Cosmic Frequencies inaugural conference that I had such an honor of speaking at yesterday, Saturday. We had so much fun. For the speakers, we had Steve Crabtree, who is known best for incredible work that he's done over at the BBC when it comes to astronomy, space, searching for aliens, everything in between. Steve also contributed to the Netflix series adaptation of Third Body Problem, I believe it's called, the book series. They adapted it for a Netflix series, and he was one of the main people behind that to produce that. So that was so cool to get to talk with him. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, you see the upper left-hand corner. We did a panel discussion after all of our individual talks. So Steve is the guy sitting right next to me, to my left, your right. And then the gentleman on the end there is Dan Pye. He is an astronomer that works at the Kielder Observatory just outside Hexham, UK. So he gave a fascinating talk about basically the vastness of space and how unbelievably large the universe is and the universes that could surround us, and how astronomically impossible it is that other life does not exist out there. Whether it's come to our planet is where I came in. I was the guy talking about the UFO experiencers. So I got to give a talk as well. And then we ended it with an amazing panel discussion, which was moderated by the host of the Cosmic Frequencies event, and that's Nicole Skelties. So a huge shout out to Nicole, to Bill, to Mike, and to everyone that made Cosmic Frequencies the success that it was. It was a huge success. So yeah, you see me pointing at one of the posters that was in one of the local stores there. They had it up everywhere in Hexham. It was so cool. And then the lower left-hand photo there is the SKX Funkanauts. This is a cosmic funk band that played throughout the event. It was so cool. It was unlike any conference I've ever been to. Like, they literally played music in between each of our talks. So a special shout out to the SKX Funkanauts. They killed it. They rocked it out. It was so cool. Then just a couple more images here. I know there's some people in the chat here that were at the event as well. So I want to give a special shout out to them too. On your screen here, you see my good friend Terry Natras there, who is featured in my second book about his UFO sighting. And then on the other side here, you see my good new buddy Richard and I believe that's his wife. Forgive me. Please forgive me. I met so many people, but I do remember seeing both of you, talking to both of you and your wonderful friends. They're going to be heading to a wrestling event in Glasgow, Scotland soon. So I got to talk all about wrestling and UFOs with Richard. It was awesome. It was so cool. Him and his family were eating at a Mexican restaurant in Hexham right before the talks. And guess who else was in that Mexican restaurant? This guy. So I got nachos coming out of my mouth. This guy comes up and says, Ryan Sprague. And we started talking, and it was awesome. I probably had the worst nacho breath ever, but it was so great. I met so many incredible people. And I just want to thank you guys for those who came out to see me talk, to see the other talks, and to just take part in this inaugural event. It was incredible. It's so much fun. So much fun. I didn't have a moment to blink, sleep, rest, eat, none of that. It was just nonstop. So I think that's why that train ride home really hit me, and it's hitting me right now. That's for damn sure. But we are here, and we are going to do this with you guys. Don't know how long we'll go. We shall see. But again, special shout out to everyone who came to Hexham to the first Cosmic Frequencies. We've already announced there will be one next year, and I am extremely honored and proud to announce that with Nicole and Bill, who put on Cosmic Frequencies, along with Mike, their co-partner in all this, I will be curating a track on the event next year. So I have become an official member of the Cosmic Frequencies event that I know will be a huge success next year as well. So again, thank you to all of you who came out to Hexham, England for this. I had a blast. Absolute blast. All right, let us move on here, guys. Couple things before I bring in Suzanne and cover some news with you guys and take your questions. Anomicon 2025 is coming to you September 20th and possibly September 21st. I will figure that all out this week. Now that I'm kind of a free man, free agent. I don't have any conferences coming up. I don't have any huge things that I got to do. So I'm all about the podcasts right now, wrestling, UFOs. I'm all about getting Anomicon ready for you guys. We signed a new speaker today. Yes, Suzanne, another new speaker. And you guys, you're gonna flip. I'm so happy with the speaker that we got for Anomicon. More on that soon. I'll be announcing all the speakers across social media as well. But if you would like to help support Anomicon, which is our free conference that you get for free here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. It's a virtual conference where we'll have a ton of speakers talking about all things anomalous. If you'd like to help support that, it's not free for us to create. It's free for you to consume. You can donate via PayPal, buy me a coffee, or the easiest way, one-time donation tonight, super chat, super stickers. We have a goal of 5 super chats, 5 super stickers, whatever you guys are willing to do to help us sort of fund Anomicon. Like I said, all the streaming stuff we use, all of the speakers that we end up paying, everything that we use to make this free event happen for you. If you can help in any way, help us with that. We would be very appreciative of that. I know I certainly would. So yes, we have a goal of 5 super chats tonight. If we go over that, awesome. But yeah, you can do that. And that's a great way to help out the show. If you cannot help us out monetarily, completely understand. Simply like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the podcast, rate and review the podcast. Those are other huge ways you can help out the show as well. So yeah, I think that's going to do it. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, because this isn't Ask Me Anything, the easiest way for us to see your questions tonight is in the super chat. We'll be sure to highlight those as well. But if you, again, can't do a super chat, put your questions, put a Q in front of it, and put the question in capital letters. That'll really help Suzanne and I try to navigate and find those as we scroll through the chat while we're talking here. Speaking of which, because we both will be on screen, behave in the chat. Please behave, guys. Anomicon. Thank you so much, Kurt. Truly appreciate the $10 super chat, my friend. That is awesome. Appreciate that, buddy. Truly, truly. Oh, yeah. Last thing I forgot. My backyard's on fire currently. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's not a joke. I live near a very historic landmark in Scotland. And hundreds of thousands of people go there every single day. I can see it from my window, and it's currently on fire. There's a huge wildfire happening outside of my window right now. It's being fought by firefighters as we speak. I can smell the smoke. So that happened. So I didn't even get to recover from the train stuff before I learned that my backyard has become a hellscape. So that's happening too. So if I have to leave abruptly, it's because I have been evacuated from the area. So, oh man, whew, Canada, I'm feeling for you. LA, I'm feeling for you. Anywhere that gets wildfires, I am feeling for you guys. I now know what it's like. Nowhere near what you have experienced. Let's get that straight. But to a microscopic level, it's a little scary knowing I'm on here right now with you guys and there's fire slowly inching its way towards me. But we shall prevail. We shall prevail. Okay, that is it. Holy crap, that was a hell of a preamble. I'm going to bring her in and we are going to just see where this goes. I know she's got some news stories she wants to talk about. Grusch is back in the news and not for good reasons, unfortunately. Also, Bryce Zabel is getting a new co-host on the Need to Know podcast. Who's it going to be? He will be announcing that later today and or tonight if you're watching this in the UK. It seems that Ross Coulthart will no longer be involved with the Need to Know podcast. So I don't know what to make of that. But Bryce is getting a new co-host. We did put a poll up on YouTube. Vote for who you think the new co-host of the Need to Know podcast is before it is announced later today and or tonight on the Need to Know podcast. You can watch that episode later on the Need to Know podcast YouTube channel and probably on their podcast feed as well. But yeah, just search for Bryce Zabel on Twitter. I'm sure you can find it from there. But who is the mysterious person who will be the new co-host of the Need to Know podcast? Vote in the poll over on YouTube or put in the comments here who you think it will be. We only gave you 4 choices on YouTube, but comment below the video, comment in the live chat right now. Who's going to be the mystery new co-host? All right, here we go. Let's bring her in. It is the one, it is the only Suzanne Landers. Welcome back.
Hi, and welcome back to you. I'm sorry your backyard's on fire. My goodness.
You know what? I might as well just get out there with some hot dogs and some s'mores and really get this party going, right?
See what you can do. Chat UFOs to people while things burn.
Right? Yeah, well, hey, the whole world's burning anyways, right?
Isn't that the truth? It's exhausting.
How are you doing? What's new in your world?
I'm doing really well. Bunch of first world problems, I'm pleased to report.
Yeah.
House stuff, everything in the whole house is broken. So now we've been on a repair mission all week. It's so much fun, and money just flies out of the house, you know.
Yep. You know, I have never been a homeowner, Suzanne. Me and Jane will probably rent till we die. But
there is something to be said for that. Today,
there is, you know, and we haven't owned a car in 13 years either. Nice. So yeah, nice. But that comes with its own problems, like having to stand for 5 hours on a train. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
You had a set of days.
I have. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't even notice. I got a bunch of books left over for my conference, guys. Cool. I sold a ton of them, which was so cool. People even brought books from home that they wanted me to sign. Like, it just touched my heart. Like, it made this old guy feel young again that people actually care and like came to see me blab for 15 minutes. That's all we got was 15 minutes.
You got 15 minutes. That's like a court of appeals argument. You better have it focused and ready to roll.
Oh, yes. And I did not. I think like 10 minutes in, I got through about the first 2 slides and I'm like, oh my God, What am I doing here? I severely underestimated it. But hey, look, that's what we were given. That's what I was told months in advance, and I'm the one who was like, "Oh God!" But we had an incredible panel discussion, which made up for it. The talks were awesome. We had a really special, like, sort of VIP conversation after in the bar, and that was awesome, where we got to hear directly from the attendees and their thoughts on the stuff we brought forward. Oh my God. That was probably my favorite part of the entire event, was hearing from the people who came to the event.
There's nothing like that too. That was my experience at Seoul last year. And I'm going to go again this year too. It's in Italy this year. But just being able to be in the room, chatting with others who are like-minded and listening to their perspective on things, there is nothing like it. You may agree, you may disagree with them, but
Yeah.
but you need to hear it and you need to think about it. So I'm glad it happened for you.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point too. Like, I hate when people call us UFO experts, because none of us are experts in this. I don't know what the hell UFOs are or aren't,
The word
you
expert
know?
across all borders brings problems.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. So, everyone in attendance at this event were just as much as an expert as I am. I just happen to dedicate, every free moment of my life to it, to probably my family and friends' disdain. But look, I love doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And for some weird reason, people give a crap about what I think sometimes. So
Exactly. And
yeah.
and it is a sliding scale, isn't it? Those of you
Mhm.
who have spent decades doing this have a perspective and some knowledge that needs to be shared.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. Also, Pat, I just wanted to say thank you. Hope you had a great birthday. Yeah, my birthday was this past Friday, actually. And it was awesome. I got to spend it in Hexham, UK. Again, that was like the day I got there. And the organizers brought me out, and we had a fun little get together, and I had an awesome dinner with Jane, who came along, and it was an awesome birthday. So to everyone, including yourself, Suzanne, who reached out to me on Facebook and social media and wished me a happy birthday, you guys truly made it something special. It was overwhelming, as it usually is when people, you know, wish you happy birthdays on these social media sites and stuff. Like, it could seem impersonal at
It
times,
can
but
be a
it's not.
thing.
It's not. It actually means a lot that,
It
like, you
does.
take the time to, like, reach out. So thank you so much to everyone who wished me a happy birthday. If you'd really like to wish me a happy birthday, you could send us a super chat for a
That's
Namaka.
right. Send me a super chat. And Pat, speaking of Pat, he's such a sweet follower. He is getting a pair of kitties this week, and one boy and one girl. So I'm
Oh my
suggesting that we
god.
name them Ryan and Suzanne.
Bravo to that, Pat. Give it some thought. We understand if you have other names in mind, but I like
Do
that.
we really understand that? I don't know.
Do we? I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Actually, I think he's thinking about Oreo and Cookie. I'm not sure.
Hides in I like that. Now I just want cookies. Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks,
Sorry.
Suzanne.
Sorry.
Kittens. Hide in Long's Grass is here. Welcome. Always good to see you, my friend. We're glad to have you here. Will Ryan ever go to a UFO hearing? I'd like to. I know there's one coming up in September.
I
Is
think
is
so.
is that the rumor? Okay. Has
That's
that
it.
been confirmed? Do you know, Suzanne?
No, it hasn't. They're talking all the way around it. Like, they want you to think that it's happening, but no one's saying, "Oh yeah, we're doing that." So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. It looks like a
Right.
big mess.
Because they've been having a lot of trouble getting these firsthand witnesses, right? Is that what the
Exactly
problem is?
right. That's
Mhm.
right. Oh, Lucy
We talked about
Kaplan,
that.
thank you.
Oh,
Happy
Lucy, thank you so
birthday.
much. Truly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No confirmation yet. Hides in Long Grass says, yeah. So yeah, if the most challenging thing, Hides in Long Grass, is I no longer live in the US. So unless someone's paying for me to go, and to get there and all that, like, uh probably not, because I just don't have the resources to do something like that. Like,
And then
I know.
hides and long grass knows too how hard it is to even get a seat once you get there, to actually
Right.
get in the room. That's a
He was
process.
at the last one, right?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Okay, yeah. That's
And
what I
so,
thought.
Dan Warren got in once, and of course, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp make it in regularly.
Yep.
But I think for the average bears like you and me, I think it's a thing.
Yeah. The average bear. I like that. Hey, boo-boo. We need
Hey,
some more
boo-boo.
picnic
Time
baskets.
for a picnic. All the Europeans are going, what?
What are these
What does that
crazy
mean?
Americans talking about? Oh, that was funny. At the event, one of the guys came up to me and he was like, "Can you do me a favor?" I'm not going to try to do a British accent. My days of acting are long over. But he was like, "Do me a favor. Try to say cosmic as much as you can this weekend." I'm like, "Oh, because the event's called Cosmic Frequencies." He's like, "No, but over here in the UK, everyone says cosmos, cosmos."
Cosmos.
Yeah. He's like, I crack up every time you say cosmic, like
Cosmos.
an American, or even worse, like a New Yorker. Cosmic frequency. I'm walking here. Okay, get these cosmic frequencies out of my way. Forget about it. That was so bad. That was
Oh,
so bad. This is
gosh.
why I don't act anymore, guys.
Everybody has their own
Hushhausen.
way. Yeah.
They do. Hushhausen says, "I love how Americans say kebab." Yeah, we say
They
kebab.
say kebab over there.
Kebab.
Kebab.
Yep.
But we say kebab. Mhm.
Kebab. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Okay. We have some UFO news. Before we open up the floor to you guys, ask
That's
your
right.
questions. Ask away. This is an Ask Me Anything casual night. So put your questions in the chat. We will try to star those as much as possible. But Suzanne, you did bring me your famous outline that you send every week for our news stories. And there were some interesting stuff on there. Where do you think we should start?
I think we start with our dear Mr. Grusch.
Grusch? Let's do it.
I
Grusch
think
hour.
so. Grusch hour.
Grusch hour.
Bad news, you guys. Bad news on the legal front. I think, Ryan, do you have that order you might put on the
Yes. Let
screen?
me pull that up now. Give me one sec. I'm half delirious right now, guys. Please bear with me.
It's not a big deal if it's a problem, but
I got it. Here we go.
I would like for them to see this order. Scroll down just
Scroll down.
a bit if you can.
Got it. Let me zoom it out a little too.
Because this is a fine example of a court order that's about as helpful as a screen door on a submarine. So here's what happened, you guys. They had long scheduled and rescheduled this motion called a demurrer. And a demurrer, as you will recall us talking about, is a vehicle by which the pleadings filed by a plaintiff, Mr. Grusch, are tested for veracity, so to speak. Not truthfulness in that sense, but are they substantive enough that even if true, the court assumes the allegations are true, they show a cause of action. Mm-hmm. And having studied Virginia law and the pleadings and both the motion for a demurrer and the responses to that motion, it was quite clear to me and to several other bright lawyers that this was a motion that Loudoun County should lose. Well, they didn't. They won their motion. And what this does is it throws the entire case out. And you'll see the words "with prejudice" down there just before the judge starts scribbling. What that means is it cannot be brought back. It is dead. The nail is in the coffin. And so normally in my jurisdiction, now remember, I'm a Tennessee lawyer, so I don't know all the bells and whistles of Virginia law, but the average order on something like this that throws an entire case out has things called findings of fact and conclusions of law. And so what that does is it lays out what the judge saw or didn't see that should have been there that was problematic, and how the judge applied the law to those facts. And you can see in this basically one-line order, none of that has happened. But this is what's considered a final order. And the reason that matters is in order to go to an appellate court, the next court up, you have to have a final order. And that keeps people from running to the Court of Appeals every 15 minutes when a trial court judge does something that they don't like. You have to wait to the end, and you have to have a final order as step one. which is what this is. It is a final order. And then you also have to have some kind of right to appeal under the statute or the rules of procedure. Well, so I did a little digging on that, and Mr. Grusch has an absolute right of appeal. So I think we may see an appeal. I don't know. This order is so brief and conclusory without any support in it that I think he probably ought to, if he has the stamina and the wherewithal, he probably ought to give it a run at a court of appeals. So I'm watching that now instead of the trial court docket. But there will be a notice of appeal filed if he chooses to do that. But I hope he will, because this should not be let to stand.
So, do you think outside of the law, let's say the justice system, as it were, do you think there was any like shady influence going on with this because of the things Grusch had brought forward, or should we completely disassociate what he is known for in the UFO community from what happened in this quote unquote, dismissal, I guess?
Yes.
What do you think?
I would not disregard any of that. The chitter chatter on the ground in this particular county in Virginia is that everything is hinky. Now, I have no evidence that something hinky happened, especially when earlier in the pleadings, it was quite clear that this judge was put out and frustrated with Loudoun County and some of the things they said and filed. So this really took me by surprise, as it did other lawyers. But, anytime you're that close to Washington, D.C., and it's maybe 30 minutes outside D.C., and you are dealing with the topic of UFOs and NHI, and you're dealing with government players, and you're dealing with journalists, you have to keep your eyes open for that garbage.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure you've seen this more than you'd like to admit.
Absolutely.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's not, the justice system is flawed. It always has been, always will be. But again, you do have to wonder, like you said, like, could the fact that he was a quote unquote whistleblower have anything to do with this? I mean, look at how this all started. The fact that this lawsuit even came about is because someone tried to, within 48 hours of Grusch testifying before congressional people, within 48 hours, someone came out of the woodwork and tried to completely discredit him. And they seem to have a very easy access to try to do that. So I don't know. It's weird, Suzanne. Like, I followed the work of Ken Klippenstein prior to this. I do still follow him. I may have spoken to him once. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But this is one part of his journalistic journey that I'm just like, why? Why'd you do this?
Was it worth it? Because it had.
There you go. That's what I mean.
It seems dirty. It seems like dirty pool. And I wonder if he regrets it. I wonder if he feels a bit played, or was the limelight for that 10 minutes worth it? I don't know.
I think it was. I think he's the kind of person when he doesn't buy into something, which is fair. Like, he has every right to believe nothing Grusch brought forward. And if he doesn't believe it, he may think that by Grusch doing this, it's going to enable other people to believe this quote unquote fabrication that he's brought forward. But he has every right to do that. I just think, like, I don't know. The real question is why? I know. And it also begs the question, lawyers deal with this. We often have many options at our fingertips, some of which are quite unpleasant for others. And to just wield those tools mindlessly and heartlessly, I submit, is not okay. And I think the same rules apply to journalists. So had I chosen what Mr. Klippenstein chose, I would have regret. But I don't know about him. Yeah. What do you think of this? Devil's advocate. He's always here to challenge us. Michael Huntington. Grusch is a public political personality influencing policy. Public records published by a free press in the public interest are not a violation.
Let
What do
me
you
tell
think?
you why I disagree, Michael.
Okay.
And that, as a statement by itself, most of the time is absolutely dead on. But HIPAA is an exception to all of this. And especially under Virginia law. Virginia has its own statute that directly addresses what happened to Mr. Grusch. And that, in my legal opinion, that law did not get followed in this order. So I think, when you throw HIPAA in and drug and alcohol or mental health records, you have a different animal. And so I think while Michael is dead right on the bright line of this and public figures and whatnot, when you bounce into HIPAA, you got a different thing going.
Yeah, because when this all happened, I actually did agree with Michael. I do, and with the other people who said no, they had a right to do that, and I was like, you know what? They probably did. They probably they wouldn't publish this without knowing that they were legally allowed to. At least you wouldn't think. But when you brought up the fact that Virginia has its own course of action for things like this, and predisposition to not allow things like HIPAA to be released. That's where I was like, okay, there is a problem here. Their arrest records are not part of HIPAA, he says.
Let me disagree there too.
Okay.
So the law specifically in Virginia says once, and across the country too, most places, says that once you are in that territory of drug and alcohol or mental health, arrest records are not arrest records. They are mental health and drug or alcohol records. So there's a specific exception to what is always the bright line rule. Arrest records that don't involve drugs and alcohol or mental health are absolutely gettable by any of us, either by subpoena or FOIA or however you want to go about it. But the minute you have drug and alcohol involved or mental health, then the rules change.
Okay. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree here,
Yeah,
Michael. But we do appreciate you. He's always here to challenge the
absolutely. And it
status
needs to
quo.
be
Is it?
thought through, and you need to think it through. And Michael's exactly right in bringing it up. Everyone needs to think it through.
Yep.
Just know that there are exceptions to every rule.
Right. Exactly. Cool. Now, sort of tangential to this, an article came out recently by John Greenwald of the Black Vault. Now, I will admit I did not have a chance to really look at this, Suzanne, but this has to do with whistleblowers. Am I right? Is this
That's
something you're
right.
willing to talk about with us?
Yeah, let me walk you through
Okay.
quickly. It's just a snippet.
Yeah, whatever you need.
So Greenwald FOIA'd this document that was likely given to Mr. Grusch and some other whistleblowers in 2023 and 2024. And it was addressing Mr. Grusch's concerns about these non-disclosure agreements that they have and retaliation and things like, if I have a classified clearance of X and you are below X and I'm in a skiff with you, am I free to talk, or can I be punished, or can I be sued, or can I be prosecuted for violating the restrictions on classified data? And so Arrow apparently gave the following, at least to Mr. Grusch and possibly others. And here's what it says. Do you understand that for the limited purpose of this oral history, and only during the course of our discussions in this secured compartmented information facility, a SCIF, that the information you disclose is not subject to any non-disclosure agreement you have signed? On completion of this interview today, all non-disclosure agreements will remain in full force and effect. So what does that mean? Well, Grusch apparently went back to the tap on this with them numerous times. He was never comfortable that he could safely talk in a skiff. I think some of that is because the path at that point wasn't well lawyered. There wasn't a whole lot of knowledge around what these whistleblowers were going through, except way behind the scenes. And he was probably right that inside a skiff with non-matching classification ranks, he probably wasn't safe. So that's what all that was about. I'd love to know who else got it, which of the other whistleblowers got it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this only adds, I think, to the tapestry, as it were, that is the challenge right now in Congress to get these firsthand whistleblowers to testify,
Exactly.
right? And then
That's
you
the
also had
problem.
Michael Herrera last week telling them not to testify.
That's
So,
right.
like, right now, there is no reason to think that these people are going to come forward. Now, I know your group and the UAP Disclosure Fund are trying to change that, and you guys are
Right.
trying to do it the right way, the legal way. But what do you think when this article came out and all of this kind of pushback right now for firsthand whistleblowers? Like, do you think we're kind of dead in the water? Is this the end of the possibility of any disclosure coming from congressional hearings, I guess, or investigation
Yeah.
by
Well,
Congress?
we do not have this problem solved. We do
Yeah.
not have this problem solved legally. And the hesitation expressed by Grusch in this exchange we just talked about, and by Mr. Herrera in his YouTube, I'm just going to call it a bit of a meltdown, understandable meltdown. He's terrified. But so I think two things are going on. One is they don't trust the system. They have learned not to trust the system. And I have to give them that. And when you look at what happened to Mr. Grusch and his mental health records, trusting this system is an enormous and likely unwarranted leap of faith. But legal opinions are out there to help. Are there problems? There can be. But at least you can make a knowing decision about whether you wanted to go forward, or if you were willing to go forward, you might go forward on topic A, not topic B, those sorts of questions. But I'm not sure that these people even trust the legal system yet because of what has gone on for decades in terms of retaliation. So there's a lot of work to be done. And I know, not from my group, but from others, that some whistleblowers get sort of tapped on the shoulder by lawyers for some legal free representation, and they decline. They're not trusting. And I don't fault them for that. It's their entire world. It's their safety. It's their family's safety. So it's just not solved yet. And it's tricky business. But of course, as we've talked about before, Ryan, they need to lawyer up.
Yeah, exactly. There's no more of this Matthew Brown coming forward on weaponized bullshit. I'm sorry.
Not okay.
I'm just calling it out. Like, look, if you have a podcast and you're trying to get views and stuff, like, of course you're going to have a quote unquote whistleblower come on your show.
Right.
But is your first question for them going to be, have you lawyered up before we do this interview?
Exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably
right.
not.
They wouldn't. That doesn't
yeah.
do them any good, does it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I will call them out on that. Like, they should have made sure this guy was like legally allowed to do this before they, not legally allowed, but like that he was safe,
legally safe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hope he's all right. Like, even if Immaculate Constellation is BS, we don't know that because we don't have the proof.
That's right.
But maybe some of it was real and it was stuff he was not supposed to divulge.
I have a funny feeling that's exactly the case.
Yeah.
The reaction, this level of fear and concern, that's pretty big for a non-event.
Yeah. Pat says the congressional hearings are a joke, a total fallacy. What do you think, Suzanne? Do you think these are worth continuing to do and pump American taxpayer dollars into?
I think okay, I'm gonna go philosophical. I can't talk today. The philosopher.
You're the delirious one.
I'm the delirious one.
I kid.
The philosopher Francis David says, just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you shouldn't do the thing you can do. And so I think we continue to try to rip this Band-Aid off, even if it comes in baby steps. And that's how I see these congressional hearings. They are baby steps. Sometimes I wonder, are they part of the government's plan to slowly acclimatize the population to this possibility of NHI? Or is it just such a political circus that when we snatch out a real whistleblower and we put in a Schellenberger, a journalist, that we're just playing a publicity game? I go back and forth. On Monday, I think one thing. On Tuesday, it's the next. On Wednesday, I'm back to what I thought on Monday.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I do think the conversation has to continue, right? It's not okay to just go silent. So let's take what we get. We can fuss about it, together as a group, and cherry pick what we liked, what we didn't like, and then just let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be.
The Beatles said it best.
Exactly.
This is an interesting question. Not directly related to this, but an interesting one nonetheless. Zeg says, why are non-classification ranks not actively matched according with SCIFs? Who is setting up these meetings? The second part of that question.
Such a good question. The second part of that question is the best leg of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And is it something that the politicians don't really understand the legal ramification of what's happening to these people or what could happen? I don't know where the disconnect is, but Zeg, there is a disconnect, and it is a wide one. So good question.
Yeah, because, everyone, anytime UFOs are brought up in a official capacity, people get excited. Like, oh, there's going to be a SCIF meeting with Elizondo, Grusch, like all the, oh my God, like this is it. I'm like, guys, it's a SCIF. They cannot talk about anything. They cannot reveal anything that is said in there.
That's right.
Now,
not safely.
Not safely. And Congress members can then use that information to go investigate, I guess. But at the end of the day, the only way anything is going to get out to us, the public, is through these congressional hearings or leaks, leaks as well. But with the
and do you see a downside on having them in the sense of the public hearing the chatter, whether those of us deeply involved agree with how they handle it or what? I just think maybe there is value out there in letting the public watch government have this conversation, even though they don't have it quite the way we would like for them to have it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think what it comes down to for a lot of people is they see it as a waste of money. And I understand that. I do. Like, we had that conversation at this event because the UK, the way these things are handled is much different. Not the UFO topic, but the way taxes work here in the UK are vastly different, and how that is all done. The process of oversight in the UK is much different than it is in the United States. The United States hides behind this dark banner of national security more than any other country in the world, probably because we have the biggest military budget in the world, and it's only getting higher and higher and higher, and getting more and more and more classified, as John Greenwald would say. So I don't know. I do think there's a public benefit. Yes, absolutely. I think anything that is going to get the UFO topic in front of people is good. It's the information that is getting out to the people that is challenging and sometimes disheartening when you have something like the Wall Street Journal publishing an article about how all UFO cases were faked or are misidentifications or are, something the Air Force was testing, which is simply not, that is 100% not accurate. That is
right. Ryan, who was it in one of those hearings that said they didn't know anything about non-human intelligence messing with our nuclear devices, our nuclear missiles and whatnot? Do you remember that? I was so offended. I picked up the phone and called my representative. Like, if they're going to do stupid on the national stage, I would like a word.
Damn.
What are you talking about? Like this. And here are 4 examples of when they have shut our nukes off. That kind of stuff does harm. When they do that, that's not okay. But having the conversation generally,
I just found the clip of the week. Suzanne saying, if they're going to do stupid, I got some words. That's going on a t-shirt.
I need a word.
I love it.
Look at this question from Lucy Kaplan.
Lucy,
If
if
you
you
could
could
see, go ahead.
go ahead.
If
Oh,
you could,
look at that. Jinx. Go ahead, Suzanne.
if you could see a UFO up close tomorrow, but had to choose one kind, jellyfish, triangle, tic tac, what would you choose?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen a sphere, so I'm going to eliminate tic tac because to me they move a lot alike.
Okay.
So I'm going to go triangle. I'm a little bit scared of jellyfish.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I'm good on the triangle. I'm okay never seeing that damn thing again. That scared the shit out of me
Yeah,
as a kid. Um, hmm. I think not jellyfish. I don't want to. I don't need to be thinking about biological UFOs in the sense that that thing could be some sort of creature, invisible creature up in like that movie Nope. That's kind of what they went
yeah,
with in that movie, which was
yeah,
terrible. It was like Jaws in the sky, is what
exactly.
people called it. So no thanks on the jellyfish. Um, since Tic Tacs are all the rage right now, and they're allegedly controlled by Lockheed Martin, I think I'd like to see for myself if that thing can do what it is claimed to do by our fighter pilots in the United States. So I think I would like to see a Tic Tac. They seem pretty interesting,
They
and they
do.
seem to what's the word, display most of the 5 observables, or
Yes.
6 if you want to add
Yes.
the biological effects. So I'm going to go with the Tic Tac, and you're going with, you said, the triangle.
I'm going with triangle. Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to see that because
Good
you have that
question.
experience, but I don't have that experience.
Yeah, yeah. Go get him, Suzanne. I love that. Flying saucers always. Michael is a traditionalist through and through. I love it.
Uh-huh.
I love
That's
it.
good.
Absolutely. Could
I
you
wouldn't turn
imagine?
one of those down either. Now I need some
Right?
distance. So it's like I don't need them up in my face. I need some distance so that I can calm myself down.
Yep.
You
Well,
know.
it would almost like really, really take me back if I saw a flying saucer, because we always look at these shapes and whatnot as appearing i- in different decades. Like you had the saucers of the 50s, 60s, whatever. Triangles started creeping up around 80s, 90s. Now it's like all orbs, these jellyfish, like very
Right.
much more exotic looking
Right.
things and more anomalous looking things. Where back in the day it was like solid metal craft almost.
All kind of
If
Calvine that
Yeah, the
true
diamond.
the
Yep.
traditional. Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like if I saw a flying saucer in 2025, I'd be like, "What the hell is going on? That should not be here." They've
Right.
evolved past that, and we've
Yeah.
evolved past that, but it would be pretty damn cool to see a classic flying saucer around.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Cool. Hello to photography by Ruth. Good to see you
Ruth made
here as
it.
always. Thank you. Dalen, I saw as well. Love it. Angus, I don't. This name is new to me. Discussion on UAP topic is quite U.S. focused, but it's a global topic. We talk about U.S. disclosure, but it's happening bit by bit globally. Disclosure may happen more directly anywhere. Thoughts? I had this discussion just yesterday, with our UK attendees of the event that I was at, and it's true. Like, as the token American in the room at this event, probably one of the only Americans there, actually, besides my partner. Um, yeah, this is a very American discussion, and it seems to have always been that way. It continues to be that way because I think our military industrial complex
Exactly.
and their tentacles all over the topic right
Yeah.
now.
We
So,
march around the world taking everybody's stuff and
yeah.
shutting everybody down on the topic. So I think that leads the conversation back to the actor who took those steps.
Yep, yep. But I do agree, Angus. It is a global phenomenon. It always has
Yes.
been. It always will be. And things are changing. We had this really good, optimistic conversation again yesterday here in the
Good.
UK that they are moving towards their first kind of meeting in like Parliament, and members of the House of Lords are getting letters to possibly put together their first ever UAP meeting, what we
Great.
would consider like a congressional hearing. So there's hope here in Europe. Um, Other countries have done this as well. Other countries
Okay.
have official investigations going on. France is a huge one. So yeah, yeah. I think us both being Americans, we can plainly admit that this is often seen through Western eyes, particularly the United States, but it is a global phenomenon, and we do agree that needs to change. The dialogue and discussion needs to go global more than it has.
I also think you watch people like Grant Levac fighting that
Yes.
fight in his real UAP world over there because everything seems to end up black boxed over here with us. And, Australia being such a good friend to the United States on so many levels, they've let them do it. And now, people like Grant are working probably twice as hard as we are trying to get to the bottom of what's going on their own soil, right?
Yeah, he is doing incredible work. I
Yeah,
mean, without Grant, we would not have known that there was a Five Eyes meeting
right.
when all of that NASA UFO stuff was happening, when the Sky Canada project was
Yep,
going on, still going on. There was a Five Eyes meeting
there
that
was.
members of Arrow were reporting to them on.
And
So
didn't his government lie to him about it?
they did.
I think his government lied to him about it. Did he FOIA that directly from us in America or something? Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's a perfect example of how much harder it is for like the Aussies to when we've gotten all up in their business, right?
Hey, we're mentioning Aussies. I got one for you. It's
Oh,
our
wow.
poll for this week. We got word this week that those of you in the UFO community, I know some people might be dipping their toes in tonight with us, and we're really happy to have you here. Some of these names you may not be familiar with, but we'll try to catch you up on a lot of them as well. Ross Coulthart, an Australian who is now working for an American news network called News Nation. He does a weekly show called Reality Check over there at News Nation, where he reports on UFOs, the paranormal, things kind of outside, kind of on the fringe, as it were. But he also was the co-host of a very well-known UFO-themed podcast called Need to Know, co-hosted by Bryce Zabel. And they've been doing it for, I'd say, maybe almost 2 years now, I want to say. And it's huge. It's up there. It's always like at the top of the charts on podcasts and stuff. I'm always like neck and neck with them, which is always fun. Little friendly competition, always, always. But they've broken a lot of stories on their show, including the controversial theory that the Tic Tac may have been Lockheed Martin technology.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there seemed to be a lot of fallout in the UFO community after Ross Coulthart brought that very controversial claim forward. And then less than 2 weeks after that, he will no longer be the co-host of the Need to Know podcast. Bryce Zabel, tonight, as we're recording this on Sunday, August 10th, will be announcing a brand new co-host of the Need to Know podcast. So what do you think? What do you think's going on here, Suzanne? Is there nothing to it? Is this just maybe Ross is too busy and Bryce is like, hey, we got to get someone new? Or do you think there was some sort of fallout? This is probably as gossipy as our show gets, guys. So yeah, what
We're
do you
gonna
think
talk
about
trash
this?
just a minute. Well,
Yeah.
I can distinctly remember, and maybe this is a lawyer thing. I don't know. Maybe others did too. When that episode came out and Ross said it was Lockheed Martin, the Tic Tac was Lockheed Martin, the look on Bryce's face was he was stunned. It was very clear that Ross had not said anything to him in advance. And he says, Bryce says something like, whoa, okay. Like, holy moly. And I don't know. I had a funny feeling it may have felt like a sucker punch, but I don't know if anybody else was paying attention to that way. But if we put it in terms of you and me on this thing right now, if I were going to say something like that on the show and had not said that to you in advance, vice versa, either way, I mean, my gosh.
It's kind of a dick move. I'm not going to lie.
Kind of a dick move, yeah.
But Ross has been known to be a little feisty. He does not like when people challenge him. He can get very
that's a problem in this arena.
It is. People get very defensive. I do too. Like we all men particularly have very sensitive egos, and Ross is no different than that, and he does not take criticism lightly.
That's
Hey,
interesting to me because I would
yeah,
think journalists are a little like lawyers. You better have a pretty tough skin and pick your battle carefully and be non-reactive in the moment to something you don't like hearing. Yet think instead of react. So that surprises me.
yeah. But again, like he had to see this coming. Ross, the criticism, like, dude, you're gonna make a claim like that, back it up.
Back it
Back
up and
it
tell me in
up.
advance.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he did it because of the shock value,
Oh,
because he knew
that's a problem.
what kind of reaction it would get. That seems to be his MO as of late.
Mm.
Um, I really don't like talking shit about people in the UFO community, but he's been doing a lot of things lately that is kind of rubbing me the wrong way, and a lot of people. I know Grant is a big supporter of him, and Ross has done good work in the UFO space. I will not deny that, ignore that, or take that away from him. But I feel like as of late, he's kind of been striking out.
Oh,
And
tough
it's
stuff.
just, it's unfortunate. It's
And the
unfortunate.
Lockheed comment did not do him or Bryce any favors.
No.
It turned the whole apple cart upside down unnecessarily and without backup.
Yeah. Yeah. But enough of the criticism of Ross. Let's theorize here. Now, I put a poll up over on YouTube, and I wanted to know, who do you guys think is going to be the new co-host of the Need to Know podcast? Should I go to the poll first before we
Go
give
for
our
it. Yeah.
guesses?
for it.
Okay. Let me refresh just to make sure. All right. So currently, as we're recording this, out of 49 votes, who will be the new co-host of Need to Know? And our options were Chrissy Newton, Ryan Sprague, I have no idea who that is, Richard Dolan, or Stephen Colbert.
I really want to be Stephen Colbert, but I'm not going to get my wish.
Yeah, I don't know. Stranger things have happened. So, again, out of 40, now 50 votes, Chrissy Newton has 37% of the vote. Ryan Sprague has 18% of the vote. Richard Dolan has 31% of the vote.
Mm.
Stephen Colbert has 14%. So I'm in third. Okay, cool. I'll take it. I'm honored. I'm honored, guys. Richard Dolan is coming in second, and Chrissy Newton's coming in hot, 37%. People really think that the new co-host is going to be Chrissy Newton, which, you know, logically, she is working with Bryce. They do a UFO
right.
book club show. So, you know, why not get her to be the co-host as well? But what do you think? Who do you think? And again, guys, put your votes, I guess votes or people in the chat. Micah Hanks, that's a good one.
That'd be a good.
Robert, I
That'd
like
be a
that.
good one.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, those two together, I could see that.
I can too. And Michael says probably Dolan.
I wanted Sprague or Hanks. I hope not Newton. She's an entertainment performer. Oh, come on, Michael.
Michael
Awesome.
had his Wheaties this morning.
Dude, like, I gotta defend my friend here. Like, she does so much work behind the scenes that people don't know about, and a lot of research as well. And she cranks out articles over at the Debrief, having nothing to do with UFOs, mind you. So she is just as hardworking, if not more, than any of the other people you brought up, including myself. But I am touched, Michael, that you would pick me or Micah as well. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. Richard Dolan seems to be a popular one as well. But yeah, Suzanne, how about you?
I'm thinking Richard Dolan of the list, but
Yeah.
except that the thing with Chrissy does make sense, but I have a feeling it's not Chrissy.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I see anyone else up here.
Yeah, I'm Googling. Oh, I have the answer.
Is it out already?
I think it's out.
Oh my God, announce it, please.
You want me to say
Please.
it? It appears to be Nick Johnson, a podcast production leader, formerly with Spotify, GoPro, and Lionsgate.
Lionsgate, the company I just left. Interesting.
To
Well,
each their
guys,
own, right?
spoiler alert, it's not me. It's not me. Nick
Yeah.
Johnston, a
J.
name
Allen
we have
Hynek,
never
who?
heard. Let's look
Me
this guy up
either.
quick. Let's look him up.
Yeah.
Nick
Let's see.
Johnson?
Nick Johnson. Yep.
I'm coming up with a YouTuber
Yep.
named Nick
Basically,
Johnson.
that's
Is
what it
that
looks like to
right?
me too. Now we'll probably get off and find that that's all baloney, but that's current.
So is that what did you Google? Just new
Who is
need
Bryce
to
Zabel's new co-host?
Okay, who is
Yeah,
Bryce
previously hosted by
Zabel?
Ross Coulthart, now to be shared with Nick Johnson.
Interesting.
I
my
know.
gosh. Okay, there you go, guys. You heard it here first. Nick Johnson.
Look at repost. This sounds like a name to me you'd make up going undercover.
Right, it does. It sounds like Matthew Brown. When Matthew Brown was said to be the
right.
person for Immaculate Constellation, I'm like, that is not a real name. Come on, come on. But apparently it is. Hands up for Nick then. Okay, disclosure ladies said.
Good
Disclosure
luck.
ladies, who is Nick Johnson? Like, what am I missing here? And no offense to Nick Johnson. I'm just
None.
personally not familiar with who that is.
None. Certainly
but
wasn't
hey,
on the radar.
that could be good too. That could be very
Right.
good. You know, no UFO baggage, new and outside perspective on the topic. Maybe he has a different sort of connections out there in the world that can bring new discussion to the topic and the need to know podcast. So hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear their first episode together, see how they bounce it off one another, and what Nick Johnson will bring to the UFO conversation.
Exactly. And I hope it's substantive. I hope this is not another personality. You know what I mean? In terms of personality, UFO personality, as opposed to somebody out there reading and thinking and working the problem substantively.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Wow. Breaking news. I hope we didn't spoil it. Sorry, Bryce. But
I guess
someone
Google knows.
yeah, someone already put it into the old Google machine, so it's
That's
there.
right.
But there you go. There you go. It's not Nick Pope, people said.
That's right. It's not
Pope.
Nick Pope.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
Very.
All right. We brought up Ross Coulthart. Now, you and I reported last week on Beatrice Villarroel.
Yes.
And the very controversial preprint papers that she came out with. Now, Beatrice was supposed to be the fourth speaker at the Cosmic Frequencies event that I attended this weekend. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it in person. However, she did, in the span of like 24 hours, put together a presentation and gave it remotely at the conference. So that was awesome. We still got to hear from her. She went through her papers and whatnot. That was really, really cool. We were trying to get her for the panel discussion live, but the connection just was not good enough to do it. But what they were gonna have me do is play a clip from the Ross Coulthart News Nation interview with Beatrice, because it was a really good conversation. Again, Ross Coulthart does do good work, and he is a really good interviewer. I will give him that. So I thought, Suzanne, if it's okay with you, I'd like to play this clip from that kind of encapsulates everything going on with the work of Beatrice Villarroel. For you guys who don't know, she is a astronomer, and she heads up the Vasco project that searches for vanishing stars. She has created a new company called Exoprobe, looking for alien artifacts and possible alien probes within the solar system or in low Earth orbit and whatnot. And she's come out with some controversial stuff lately, basically theorizing that there could be hundreds of thousands of objects out there that we did not know about pre-Sputnik. So there was no space trash or satellites out there. Yet in these old photos she found, as compared to new photos and whatnot, comparing these plates, as we discovered last week, there could be hundreds of thousands of these things, and some in perfect straight lines, which shouldn't happen, which could mean that they are artificial. it's just there's too much sci-fi or science fiction, science fact. Excuse me. I'm so tired.
You've got good words too today.
Me too. Good words. I'm also inhaling smoke from a fire.
From
So
a
there's
fire,
that
that
too.
lovely. Yeah, just lovely.
There's science fact behind this that there could be an alien intelligence monitoring our planet. Basically, it's a lot. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to digest. But if you don't mind, what I'll do is I'll play this clip, guys. It's about 4.5 minutes long, and we'll get to the heart of the Beatrice stuff and what we learned at the conference this week and what you guys learned this past week. And meanwhile, we're going to go collect all of your questions for us that'll start to close things out for the show tonight. So while this clip plays, guys, we want you to enjoy it. We want you to learn from it. And now is the time to put in your final questions for Suzanne and I for our Ask Me Anything portion of the episode. So how's that sound? Should I go play that
Perfect.
now? Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Cool.
anxious to hear her.
Yeah. This is a good one. It's a good one. Give this a watch, guys. Of course, it's not going to play.
Of
So I
course
got
it's
to
not.
upload it. It waited too long and got tired. Here it is. Okay.
Have you found?
It's a number of findings that have been done in the last year, thanks to that I work with really good people who have joined the team. And for example, I've been working with these transients, and I've always been thinking looking at certain cases where we've been seeing multiple transients appearing and vanishing, and I've been ignoring that there are hundreds, thousands of them, which I started learning that I should not have ignored those hundreds of thousands, because, for example, we have a paper now together. So it's first author is Stephen Bruel at Vanderbilt University, and he has used 100,000 of these transients. They are not visually vetted, and he has checked whether they correlate with nuclear tests and with nuclear bomb tests and with UFO events. And yes, he surprisingly finds correlation between my transients, this from before Sputnik, and the nuclear bomb tests and the UFO sightings.
What's the statistical probability that there is that correlation with?
I mean, it's very, very unlikely. I think it's what we would state as 3 sigma events. It's a very low probability that it's gonna happen by chance. So these are real correlations. Of course, you cannot say if there's a causation there or not, but these are real, really unlikely things to happen by chance. But we still see these correlations. That's one of the things. But the equally interesting thing that now that is in the other preprint is that we have been seeing multiple of these events, and I think I talked about the previous time that we see some of them, they're aligned along a narrow band or along a line. They have extremely statistically unlikely alignments. Let's say one of them has a probability of 1 in 10,000 to be aligned along this band, and it looks like it's it could be caused by solar reflection on an artificial material, something very flat and something extremely reflective, and or that it's a formation is one of these two things that one can play with, two thoughts. And even more interestingly, what we didn't know when we found this candidate and when we posted it on archive the first time was that this date when it happened was on the 27th of July 1952, which is one of the most famous UFO mass sightings. And that's how, for example, Steve came up with the idea of let's check this. If it's true that these transients correlate with UFO events, we will see this correlation, and he finds it.
How could there possibly be something artificial, something constructed in orbit pre-1957? Because as we all know from our history, Beatrice, there was nothing in orbit from human civilization until Sputnik satellite was launched by the Soviets in 1957.
And apparently, whatever they are, they're also somehow correlating in time with our nuclear bomb tests and with our UFO sightings. So what are we seeing? I don't think that's plate defects, unless plate defects are getting intelligent and are avoiding the shadow of the Earth on the photographic plates.
Are we talking here, Beatrice, about the possibility of a non-human technology that was surveilling this planet at that peak moment in UFO history?
I don't find any other way of looking at this data. I think, I mean, if I take the pieces together, that some of them fall on a line. Our best cases happen during the Washington, D.C. flap by coincidence. There's temporal correlations with the nuclear bomb tests and with UFO sightings. And on top of it, there's a huge deficit in the shadow of the Earth. For me, this looks technological. But
What's
I might be
the
wrong. Maybe
the,
there's a new physical phenomenon that that nobody knows about yet. But to me, it looks very high tech.
it's exciting, but are you copping any criticism behind the scenes at all at the moment? Are you fearful of a response?
Well, I would say like this: whatever is the criticism, I've had also support. So, like, of course, there are people who are critical that I'm openly talking. They want me to be much more careful in the way how I express myself in the media, in the way how I express myself on social media pages. But I have reached a state where I don't feel I'm sincere with myself if I too much wrap my words in sugar or sugarcoat it, or are too careful with how I phrase myself around these findings, because I believe that what we see is something real. I believe we see a real physical phenomenon that shows itself, like, let's say, like a deficit in the Earth's shadow with correlations with these nuclear bomb tests. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to present these results in a way where I feel that I'm honest to myself and honest to the audience, without offending others. Others will be offended probably by the way how I talk about these findings, and that's how it will be.
Okay, that's how it will be. I'm glad he asked that last question because she is getting flooded with criticism. And that's what happens when you make such bold claims as these papers
That's
are
right.
making. I mean, a lot of the people in the chat do not buy this. And I understand. Some might. But you bring up a good point, Suzanne. I saw you in the chat there saying, I will wait for the peer review. And I think that's all any of us can do. This could be ripped to shreds.
It might.
And it seems to me that Beatrice is okay with that. But somebody has to ask these questions. You know, somebody has to do it. Look, we had this discussion at the panel last night where the astronomer from the Kielder Observatory talked about how Bruno, the famous philosopher back in the day, was kind of one of the first to say that there were other planets out there, you know, and that the sun wasn't the only thing, the moon wasn't the only thing, and he was burned at the stake, hung upside down, burned to death because of that.
Right.
He was right. Now, look at people like Einstein. Look at all of these forward thinkers that were thought crazy at one point, or making crap up, and then they turned out to be right. I'm not saying that's what is going to happen here. None of us are prophetic. We don't know what's going to happen. But what do you think? What do you think, Suzanne, of the developing story here with Beatrice?
I'm right there with you. Copernicus, Galileo, all of them have been, Avi Loeb, all of them have been right here where she sits today. And they're brave, I think, and they have to be ramped up for this, I think. I can't imagine that she or anyone else put this out there thinking, oh, this question's now answered. That's not what the response is going to be. There will always be fierce opposition, which was one of the points that Avi Loeb made at Seoul last year, which was, you put a new concept or a new thought or a new way of thinking about a thing out there, and there will be vehement opposition, albeit intellectual, not necessarily being burned at the stake. But that's what's happening to her right now. So to me, the train is on track. The train is on track. Let everybody say whatever they want to say. And then let's see what happens with peer review.
Right. And if anything, like, let's say the entire, like, these transients or what have you don't turn out to be artificial, don't turn out to be alien probes. Like, okay, we can move on to the next thing.
Question answered, right?
But we also, and this is what I love about like the work of John Greenwald and stuff, like when that Arrow report came out, like people were so like disappointed in it. Everything was like blacked out and everything, but some stuff wasn't. And John said, those things that weren't, that's where I come in and I go dig. And that's what could happen with papers like this. Other scientists can look at what Beatrice and her counterparts who also co-authored these papers. They said, wait, there's a correlation between nuclear bomb tests and famous UFO sightings. Let me dig deeper into that.
Right.
You know, just like random stuff like that. So like the cause and effect of these things, the reaction to these things can lead to other things. So, you know,
learning is layered. Learning is layered on these complex things. You know, we know that Einstein's theory of relativity isn't quite right because those rules perform well on the macro and they don't go well on the micro, on the quantum. And so we have something off and everybody's working on their position about what the answer to that is. It will come out in time, but thought and learning is layered. And so this is a layer. This is one layer. We'll see what happens next.
I love it. I love it. Well, I guess that'll do it for our news for tonight, but we did get some cool questions
in
the chat here. So I'll go ahead and go over to our starred section here.
Wait, we got to put Michael Huntington's latest comment.
Oh,
hold on one second. There's correlation between tornadoes and trailer parks. It doesn't mean there's causation. He's so great.
That's good, Michael. I like that.
True.
Have you seen Twisters, the sequel to Twister?
I haven't. No.
Me either. I heard good things. I want to see that movie. I'm like a sucker for those disaster movies that were huge back in like the 90s, like Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole last night of Alien: The Covenant.
Ooh.
Have you watched that one?
No, I've really only seen the original Alien and Aliens. Those are the only two in that franchise that I've seen. But now there's like a new TV show coming out. There's like spin-off movies, prequels, sequel. Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, this is a prequel.
Is that the one with Fassbender, Michael Fassbender, I believe?
I don't know their names.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm terrible at that.
How dare you?
I know. I know. It is the fear narrative, though, and I don't do very well with that.
Yeah, yeah. That first one, I mean, was a horror movie, a slasher movie set in space.
That's kind of what this one is, basically.
Yeah. So they definitely pioneered that, like alien horror movies, I guess.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly.
Kurt says Alien Romulus is badass. Ooh, I'll have to check that one out.
Okay.
Check that one out. Yeah. Predator is making a comeback too. Remember those movies with Schwarzenegger and whatnot? Those are making a comeback too. So yeah.
Crazy.
Good stuff.
New generations, new comebacks.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's get to these.
All right.
I love this. Ryan, I don't know how you and Suzanne got connected, but don't lose her. She has all the info and know-how. If we do, we will be.
What are those emojis? I don't know.
The monkeys and laughing. Do you, Suzanne? A lot of people have wondered this, and I don't know if we've ever really discussed how we met and everything, but I want to hear it from your perspective. Like, what is our origin story?
What is our origin story? We do have an origin story.
We do.
I had listened for years and been in the chat, but I didn't say very much. But I will tell you that Pat and Dalen and Metal Hendrix and whatnot made me feel so comfortable in that chat. And I learned to look forward to the chat. So we were doing crazy things like you can ski here in Santa Fe in the winter. And so we would get up and we'd go early, but I wanted to be out by 2, which is when your live stream starts here on Sundays. So I would be in that chat. Right. And then we planned a trip to Scotland. And somehow I heard that you were there in Edinburgh, and we were going to have a little leg in Edinburgh. And so I reached out to you, stranger on the internet, probably crazy, right? She's probably nuts, and said, I'm going to be in Edinburgh. I'd love to meet you. I promise I'm not crazy. And you pick where you're comfortable meeting. We'll meet you on your comfort terms. And you were brave enough and came to meet my husband and me both. We had the best hour and a half, something. I don't know how much time you gave us. An incredible amount, because I know you were very busy. You'd been, or you were going to Calvine that day, I think.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
within
and you,
hours I was heading up to Calvine with James Fox. Yeah.
yeah, but
Crazy
you,
weekend.
crazy. But you guys, he stopped the train and he met us in our hotel lobby and he sat down with us with time he did not have. And we had a wonderful time together. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, I'm not even sure I was back in America yet, but you said something on a live stream about, gosh, I got to get some help in this chat or something like that. So I messaged back and said, I'll help. I don't know how to do it. You'll have to show me what I'm doing, but I'll help. And I didn't hear anything for a minute. You were running like crazy. And the next Sunday I showed up, there was a little wrench by my name. And it's like said to Bill, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Ron. I said to Bill, oh my God, Google, what do YouTube moderators do? How does this work?
What is a wrench? What does a wrench mean?
What does this mean?
I sort of thrust you into this position. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But hey, I mean, the only time I've ever really met listeners of my podcast were at conferences or when they'd reach out to share their UFO stories with me. I'd never really met up with a listener or viewer or anything like that. And you were so kind and so nice. And I love how you prefaced it with, I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy. Okay, maybe I'm just a little bit crazy, but
I love the Somewhere in the Skies community, and we're all a little bit crazy. All of us.
Just a little bit.
That's the reason we're here.
Why we like each other.
Yeah. But there are, and this goes for any person of any influence, whether it's a podcaster, an actor, a writer, a musician, anyone who is out there and has made themselves public, you have no idea who's out there listening, watching, stalking, stuff like that. So it can be a little, you do. I understand now why actors are always on guard. And it's because they deal with things you and I will never, truly understand. The real crazy people out there. But I was like, she seems so nice. And of course.
Really crazy.
Of course. So, you guys were staying only like a few blocks from me. And I'm like, heck yeah. So I came and met you and Bill, and you guys were so nice. You baked me cookies, alien cookies, and you brought them from the US all the way to Scotland. And that was just like, oh my God, there's no better place to my heart than with desserts and cookies. Yeah. And they were amazing. They tasted so good.
I'm so glad. So glad. I think James Fox got some too.
Yes, he did. Yeah. And so that's how we met. And then eventually we started corresponding more. And you reached out and said if you need help. And here we are. Some year later, you've been an invaluable addition to this show. Not only for your moderating, but coming on the show, putting so much time and effort into bringing news every week. I've done this off air, but I want to do it on air. You are the best thing that has happened to this show.
You made me cry in the live stream.
And I want to thank you for that in front of our incredible community. This is why I do this, to meet people who are not only like-minded, but want the best for you. And you have supported me for a very long time.
Happy
And
to.
it does. Both you and Bill have been incredible friends to me,
Oh,
and I consider you not only a friend but now a colleague and a peer, and it's been amazing. I love this journey we're on together. You're now joining me on interviews on the podcast, which is so
that was
cool.
so much fun. I can't wait for everybody
Yeah.
to get to hear
Ooh,
Travis Walton
Travis Walton. We had Jennifer Stein on too with
and
him to
Jennifer.
talk about her documentary. That episode is a banger, as they call it here in
Good.
the UK.
Good.
That will be premiering soon. I can't really. It will be premiering once a big announcement is made in the next 3 days about
Yeah.
Somewhere in the Skies. So hopefully I'll have more information about when that date will be that you'll see the Travis Walton interview, guys. But along with it will come a very big, exciting announcement about Somewhere in the Skies. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
great
yes.
question, Kurt. Thank you.
Great question. Great question. All right, let me get here.
And thank you, Kurt. I see a super chat.
Oh, thank you so much, Kurt, for the
Yeah.
$2 super chat. I need to see more about these. Yes. Robert Chafee, what about claiming to be a sovereign citizen, Suzanne? Oh, I don't know what that's in reference to. Do you have any
I
idea?
don't know what it's in reference to, but that's a piece of
Okay.
work. So out here in this neighborhood where I live in Santa Fe, I'm here part-time and I'm in Memphis part-time. But out here, they got a sovereign citizen in a home and they couldn't get that person out. It took forever to get them out of this home. It's like, that is a world unto itself. I learned more in the neighborhood newsletter things about sovereign citizens than I ever cared to know. But the takeaway is you don't want one in your house. Whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never ceases to amaze me what happens out there.
No
Oh,
kidding.
man.
No
and what
kidding.
makes the news, right?
Oh, Sweet Metal Hendrix. Always
Oh,
coming
thank
in.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the super sticker, Meadow Hendrix. Guys, you are helping to support our incredible conference that is coming up in September called Anomicon 2025. This will be our 3rd year. Can you believe that? Of doing
Unbelievable.
Anomicon? Yeah. Yeah. Something else I've roped you into, Suzanne. Oh, man.
That first one, I think we went for 48 hours, 24 hours. How far did we go? We didn't sleep for days.
It was 24 hours. I clocked it. It was 12 hours each day. And it will not be that long this year, guys. I promise. It's getting there, but it will not be 24 hours. I promise.
I'm going to believe it when I see it.
I know when it happens. Yeah. The spring
It's
8
hard
new
to turn a
speakers
good
on
speaker down. That's right.
It
You can't say no.
I am so
You shouldn't
touched.
say no.
I'm so touched and honored that so
Yeah.
many people like want to be a part of Anomicon. It's just
Yeah.
again, something I just like thought of, like dreamt of, and I was like, let me give it a try. This might be an epic fail, but it turned out to
so
be
great.
an epic win. And that's because of all the incredible people that watch and the speakers. And we have some awesome speakers this year. And again, it's free. It's free to the public. This is not a conference you got to pay for. No admission. Come watch. Dozens of speakers talk about all things anomalous. You can learn more about our speakers and the event at anomicon.com. And if you would like to help fund Anomicon, Super Chat and Super Stickers are still open for your questions for us tonight, guys. We will probably be wrapping it up before the 2-hour mark because I want to make sure you have some of your evening, Suzanne.
Excellent.
But let's see. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen here. Sorry. Here's our questions. Gary asks, hello, Ryan and Suzanne. Love the show as always. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Question, one of my favorite fairly recent UFO cases is the Penturk incident of 2016. Have you heard any new information about this case? Are you familiar with the Penturk?
I'm not. I'm making a note. I'll go
look into it.
Yeah.
I will say I have looked at it tangentially. I don't know much about it. It is something that happened here in the UK. I believe it had something to do with triangular UFOs. But I will be honest, Gary, other than UK triangle, I don't know much about the case. I think there's several debunks out there of it, so I don't want to just ignore that. But if there is a case to be made, Gary, for this case being authentic, lead us there, my friend. If you have any links to
Absolutely.
information about it, I think there's a book about it. Maybe it is something we should dig into and look into and see if it's worth covering on the show.
Absolutely. I'll take
Yeah.
a look. Gary,
We'll
send
take
it
a look.
out.
Yeah, thank you, Gary, for the question and for the very kind words. Kurt, what intrigues both of you more, UFOs or USO? And if when disclosure happens, when do you think it'll be proof from the sky, space, or ocean or other? Okay, so what intrigues us more, UFOs or USOs? Let's start with that one.
This is
What do you
hard.
think?
This
It's
is
hard.
hard because we get so much more stuff in the sky
Yeah.
than we get under the water. And so it's easy for me to say, well, definitely UFO because there's just a lot of it to see. But the USO stuff, Tim Gallaudet needs to come through on that. I saw him talking earlier in the week about this exact topic, and the study that he recommends needs to happen in the water. They found these oddly perfectly shaped cuts into the ocean floor somewhere. So there's just so much down there that we don't know. And you and I can't see it. We're not at the bottom of the ocean, so we can only see what's in our air, right?
Yeah.
But gosh, in terms of just general fascination, probably the USO.
I'm going to have to agree. We've been looking towards the skies for all these years, and I'm literally going against the name of my podcast, Somewhere in the Skies. But USOs, I mean, we had Richard Dolan on the show to talk all about his fantastic coverage of the USO phenomenon throughout the decades. I highly recommend that book to anyone out there. And I think it's, ever since 2017, with all these Navy events, the Tic
Right.
Tac being one of them, USOs are a new area to explore when it comes to the anomalous phenomena, both in our skies and in our oceans. And again, our oceans are full of so many mysteries that have nothing to do with UFOs as well. So I always think it's worth exploring our oceans outside of the UFO realm
And they are
too.
connected. These things like off the Nimitz, is it Nimitz where it comes up out of the water? It may not be Nimitz. I may be wrong on that.
Yeah.
They're coming up out of the water, or they're going into the water. And then is it the gimbal or the go fast, maybe, that you see it skimming into the water and it never changes speed. So these, multimedia craft can just do whatever they want to do. So we're probably going to find out it's all related, regardless of whether we see it in the water or we see it in the air.
Yep. Circling back to the jellyfish, right?
Yeah, right. That thing's scary.
There was a story this past week. I put it on the Somewhere in the Skies Twitter. We should have talked about it tonight. I totally forgot. There were these new extremophiles found at the deepest depths of the ocean that were just discovered. Extremophiles are so interesting, guys. If you have a chance, just Google it. It's basically life that could survive in extremely inhabitable areas of the earth, in very volcanic areas, or devoid of light, things like that, where normal life, I guess normal being very, liberal of a word there, can thrive and survive. And this is a fantastic way for us to look for life on other planets. We always look for life according to what can survive on this planet. Now we know that things can survive on our planet that shouldn't.
And they originally thought, Ryan, that these were the one-offs, that these were the oddities, and that is not the case. Entire fields of some of these little creatures down at the very bottom in the darkness. It's not a rare thing. They're everywhere.
So cool.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got those tardigrades just floating out there in space too.
Forever.
I love it. I love it. Okay. What do we have?
Thank you to Jamie Treewalker.
Jamie,
$2. We appreciate you, Jamie.
Let's ask that question right now.
Want to ask that question? What's my favorite case? Okay, hands down. Ryan's probably going to scream. My favorite case is the Ariel School case in Zimbabwe.
Great choice.
I love this case. I like Calvine. I mean, there are lots of them that have so much meat to them. Rendlesham Forest. But of all of them, it's the aerial school. And that is because of the children and how the children interpreted what they were being told and took it to this day, took it to heart about the planet and about our nuclear things. And also the teachers, many of the teachers were quite supportive, also saw what happened. Anyway, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Love it. Yeah. And then you had John Mack getting involved, the Harvard
Yes,
psychiatrist who
right.
days after went over and interviewed the children. And yeah,
And
fantastic case.
our listeners may remember that I was lucky enough at Soul Foundation last year in San Francisco to get to hear from a sort of a new talker about it from the aerial school. She was a child when it happened. And to her, John Mack and his loving acceptance and kind curiosity was still a value to her today because he was so good with those children. He believed them. And, when there was a lot of other ruckus going on around him.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's aerial school, Jamie.
Wow. Great choice. Great choice. Thank you again, Jamie. We appreciate that. Okay, let's move to this one here. Anthony asks, welcome, Anthony. Thank you. Love your live stream, guys. Thank you. Did you relocate to Scotland to be nearer to Bonnybridge Triangle? All the best. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate that, buddy. So I've told this a couple times, but I did not move to Scotland strictly for UFO purposes. In my real life, I have a fiance who is currently getting their PhD here at in Scotland, and I am the person who can kind of do my job anywhere. I can UFO all over the planet because that's where UFOs are, all over the planet. So yeah, I could bounce anywhere, do the podcast, do the stuff I do. That's what planes are for, and teleportation machines. What?
That's what we need.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I moved here to help support my incredible partner, who is one of the most brilliant people I have ever met in my life, and is doing invaluable work in the history field here in Scotland. And I cannot wait to see what comes next for her, and I will follow her to the ends of the earth, wherever that brings her, because I believe in the work she's doing, and I believe it's going to change the way we look at a certain part of history when it comes to specific cultures in the East. So yeah, that's why I'm here. But look, if I'm going to live in Scotland, I am going to take advantage of that. So I am going to every haunted place. I've been to Calvine. I've hiked the hills of Calvine with James Fox and the RAF press officer who interviewed the photographers of the Calvine UFO photo. I'm going all over. I have not been to Bonnybridge yet, so I'm hoping to get there soon. And we're down to a year left of living here in Scotland. We've lived here for almost 2 years now. It's gone so quick. And we're like, oh my God, we need to start exploring Scotland, which we haven't really done
You
yet.
should. Yeah.
So we've been to a
Scotland
lot
is
of other
so much
places in
fun.
Europe, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I feel truly blessed. And like I said, where we go next, I don't know. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I never thought I would leave my little town of Syracuse, New York, and here I am living in a city that is currently on fire, but nonetheless awesome. So,
And haunted and has UFOs
yep, exactly. At the same time, sometimes.
all at the same time. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate the question, my friend. Robert S. Ryan, have you witnessed an increase in activity there in Scotland? Not personally, to be honest. I mean, people are a bit more conservative in sharing their UFO incidents over here in the UK, and but that's changing. There was a UFO sighting that happened here a couple weeks ago, right here in the city I live in, of a metal orb, a metal sphere. And I did reach out to that witness, and I'm currently in conversation with them. So that's cool. But yeah, I can't say there's been an increase in activity, Robert, but that's strictly because I haven't personally looked. Yeah, I've been bouncing all over the world. I was in Nova Scotia 2 months ago. I was in California last week. I'm back home in Scotland now. I was in England yesterday. It's just like,
Travel bug.
oh my god. Yeah, I can't believe I haven't had like a what do they call those things? When you like get stressed and whatnot. God, I can't even think of not a heart. I guess a heart attack. Let's just go with heart attack.
A panic attack.
A panic attack. Yeah, those I've gotten under control.
Oh yeah,
Thank God.
yeah.
Thank
Those were
God.
no fun. No fun.
Okay. We'll breeze through these as we're getting on the 2-hour mark here.
All
Pat
right.
asks Suzanne, is 31 Atlas an interstellar ice cream van?
I hope so.
I did not know this question was going this way. And will you buy me a cone?
We'll
Pat,
buy you a comb, Pat.
that is the question of the night. I love that. I love that. Yes, it is. I don't know what's the latest with all that. Avi Loeb was like campaigning to get a Jupiter mission satellite to go out and try to intercept this new interstellar object, 31 Atlas, which he thinks could be an alien spaceship. He theorized. He's made it very clear. I'm not saying it is, guys. I'm not saying it is. That's what the headlines go with, though. So to answer your question as serious as I can, I'll ask you a question, Pat. Strawberry, vanilla, or chocolate? Awesome. Let's see. 31 Atlas. Robert also asks on that. What do you think? Are we any closer to a theory on what that could be? Or
I don't think we're closer on theory. I think we're closer to finding out they're not going to be able to do the orbiter to
really?
get to it. I was following a little bit of that this week, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we not able, or do we not want to? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I saw even like Congress members getting involved and being
Yeah.
like, "Let's do it. Let's do it."
Yeah.
The usual suspects, as it were. The what are they called? The truth seekers, the Trump trusters. I don't know what they're
Whatever.
called at this point. Yeah. Let's go with the whatevers. Yep.
Yeah. Whatever.
James Craig, always here as usual. Thank you so much for the super
So
chat, buddy.
nice.
Thank you, Ryan and Suzanne, for creating a wonderful community here on Somewhere in the Skies. Thank you, my friend. I truly do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever shared this. James Craig is the name of a former coworker of mine back in New York City. So for like a year and a half, this James Craig, the incredible supporter here at Somewhere in the Skies, I thought was my coworker.
Wrong, James Craig.
I went up to him one day and I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like, I always see you in my chats and like reaching out and stuff. I'm like, thank you. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? James, the real James Craig right here. I thought you would appreciate that. So
funny.
Yeah,
I'm sure that guy still to this day going, I still don't know what all that was about.
Still have no idea what Ryan was talking about, but he is that weird UFO guy. Okay. Do we have any other questions come in that I missed? Let me see here.
Let's see.
Angus 73 says Kelvin is pretty much solved by Professor Simon. Great story. I know what you're talking about, Hengis. It's an interesting theory that Professor Simon has about the Kelvin event. I would suggest people go watch the Professor Simon YouTube channel. He does some fun stuff. And look, I'm all for explaining a UFO case. So if it's compelling and it's an intriguing theory, I'm all for it. Let's solve the case. It did not convince me, but it is worth looking at. So
you know that photo. That photo is really good. Of all the photos we have, of all the various whatnots out there, that photo is so clear.
It is. It's amazing. And like I said, I went to where we believe the actual literal footsteps are taken of the photographers. You know, we could be wrong. Of course we could be wrong. Like, we just don't know. However, we had the original press officer, RAF press officer, with us who said, yep, this is where they said they took it. We had a guide who lived right there, who throughout the years has been researching the case. He brought us up there. We kind of lined up everything, and the fence lined up, the trees lined up. And what we found, the thing I think we may have contributed to the case, a lot of people would argue we contributed nothing. That's fine. That's fair. Totally. Is we believe that the background was not water, as a lot of people have suggested, that there was a body of water and that the craft was literally just like a boat with a guy in it, and there was a reflection of an island and something like that.
Mm.
But we found no water within 100 miles or something of that area. So, look, again, we could be completely wrong on all of this, but we do believe that we found the spot. And I'm sticking to it for now until someone else can prove me wrong.
Just prove that photo and then come talk to us.
Exactly. I'll follow you wherever you go, Ryan.
So
Robert says,
sweet.
dude, you're the best. Thank you. We have such an incredible. We should mention we have a Discord. I am guilty of not being in there as much as I should, and it's not even like I am so absent-minded. Like I can't
You have a
remember what
few
I
things
had for
going
dinner.
on.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's go with that. Not onset dementia. I hope. Not to make light of that either. I'm just scrolling really quick, Suzanne. Forgive me.
Okay.
I don't know if I missed anything that you see, but it looks like we
Not-
may have answered
I think
all the
we got it.
question. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Anything else before we go? You got anything that we should
don't think so.
tease or bring up? Cool. I
don't
got
think
one
so.
thing.
What you got?
I am the new host of the Need to Know pod. No, I'm kidding. I will admit, during the Beatrice video, I Googled what you Googled, and I
Yeah.
didn't find anything.
Really?
Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough.
I don't know.
You'll have to let us know. Well, I mean, we will find out for sure in a couple hours.
In a couple of hours, we'll see
Yeah.
whether Google's right or wrong, won't we?
But yeah, this one thing I want to tease is a brand new Witness Accounts is dropping in just a couple hours. Now,
My
Suzanne
favorite.
has been a part of the Witness Accounts series, telling her personal UFO sighting. I met some incredible people in Hexham, UK this week who I've gotten in touch with and will be also sharing their stories in the future on the show as well. But this is a series we run where you are in the driver's seat of the Somewhere in the Skies podcast, and you tell your story about your UFO sightings. I'm not even in the episodes at all. I don't get involved. I'm not interviewing you. This is just you telling your story as you remember it, and as much as you want to share or not share. So yeah, we got a brand new volume 37. Craziness.
And if you have one you'd like to share, reach out to one of us and we'll get you all set up and tell you how to do that for us.
Yep. After this, if you're okay, Suzanne, I'd love to share your email if people want to reach out to me.
Sure.
Or
Yeah,
we can create a new one for you, whatever. We can talk about that
Okay.
off air. But yeah, reach out to us, guys. We would love to hear your UFO story. We can help walk you through the process of how
Very simple.
Yep, it is. I try to make it as simple because, even I, as a podcaster 8 years later, like I sometimes don't know how to use a lot of this equipment and all that stuff. But yeah, this is your chance to tell your UFO stories.
Exactly. A big thank you to Neil Bradley, 10 pounds.
Oh, Neil, thank you so much.
Neil.
Thank you. Sorry, missed tonight's show, but have a beer on me. P.S. Love Witness Accounts. Thank you, Neil.
So kind.
Really do appreciate that, my friend. Cool. I think that's gonna do it. Hopefully we will be back next week. Like I said, I finally have some moments to breathe. And although my co-host of my wrestling podcast is taking a couple weeks off, so it looks like I'm gonna do the heavy lifting over there at Somewhere in the Ring podcast, my professional wrestling podcast. So.
And I have zero knowledge to offer assistance with that.
What? But you promised you'd be my co-host. What? No, I got it covered. I got all of it covered.
Yeah.
I could talk wrestling forever, just like UFOs, to Jane's dismay, for sure. But cool. That's going to do it for tonight, guys. So again, I want to thank all of you for hopping in tonight, for asking your questions, for joining us in a very impromptu episode. Suzanne, thank you as always for bringing us the latest news, your insights, and thank you to everyone who donated tonight. We truly do appreciate that. You are making Anomicon happen. So yeah, that's going to do it for tonight. You can reach out to Suzanne and I on social media. Email is in the show notes. Be sure to check out Anomicon's website, anomicon.com. We have a Patreon if you want bonus episodes of the podcast, early access to the podcast. You can join at patreon.com/somewhere skies. And yeah, I think that's it.
We've got it.
We got it. So thank you, everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. We truly do appreciate you watching tonight. And hopefully we will be back next week with the latest UFO news and everything in between. So Suzanne, thank you for joining us tonight.
Everyone have a great night.
Yeah, yes, please. You made our night great, even if my city isn't going to exist in the next 24 hours if it's burned down by then. But we will hopefully be back next week. So I will leave you guys with our mantra, as always. Keep your feet on the ground, but never stop searching somewhere in the skies. Take care.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.